Oh, okay, so Hi, yeah. Let's see. Oh my god. Is this thing on? Does this work? How do you use the camera? It's been like 9 days since I made a video. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay. Here's the thing. I have a YouTube channel. I focus a lot on Plex media servers. I have done a couple builds, and I am very proud of what I've built. But my server room is embarrassing, and if anyone were to actually come over and look at it, I would die a little bit inside. If you don't believe me, like let me show you. This right here. See this? This is my big old Plex media server. That is a cat. That is a dog. That is a floor. And that is where the Plex media server has been for, I'm going to say, at least 6 months, maybe longer. And I'll tell you why. See, the original rails that came with it, which I don't think of these rails, but the original rails that came with it that allowed me to put it in to my server rack, I broke. I tried to get online, and I bought these set of rails, and they'd only let the server come out like a little bit. I went on a mission to try to find a new set of rails that fits this case. That mission obviously failed, and I just completely stopped caring. But I really need to get this into there. So today, I'm going to be putting my Plex server on these wings, which should be okay. Maybe. Possibly. I mean, essentially, all the weight is in the front. That's where the hard drives are. What's in the back? It's a lot. I mean, there's some power supplies and stuff, but it's a lot lighter. All the weight is in the front. So, yeah, this is my temporary solution to a problem that I've had temporarily. Hi, Luna. So we'll see how this works. And this all, what are you doing? Just calm down. No, back, stay back. This all really kind of came because I was thinking about the state of my server, right? And what I have in it. So right now I'm running a 5960. No, get back. Love you, but stay. I'm running a 5960. This is an X99 platform. It has 128 gigs of RAM in it, and I got some 10 gig NICs. I got a SATA SSD. I should have another SSD. Yeah, I got another SSD just floating right there. And then of course I got all my drives over here. So again, this is where most of the weight is, and there are 4 power supplies underneath this motherboard that add a little bit of weight to the back. Oh yeah, I also have a couple SSDs in here as well, but it doesn't really matter. What I was thinking, since I upgraded my main computer, I now have a 7940X that I could put in here. However, the 7940 system is terrible with temperatures. And that's no joke. Like the 7940 that I had to direct die mount water cooling to it just to get something decent of a temperature on it. So that was a whole uphill battle. I don't want to water cool this. I really think that's too much of a pain in the ass. And I really, if I'm going to rebuild it, I'm going to go with an Intel 10th gen or higher with integrated graphics. Because the more and more I think about my build right now, the more I think graphics cards are pretty much pointless. So for the 5960 that I have in here, this is an AMD GPU. It's literally the crappiest GPU in existence. It's only just to have something to plug into, because this chip doesn't have any kind of integrated graphics, so I had to have something, right? I took my GPU, my RTX 4000 Quadro card out of here, and I put it in my mining rig, and I've been using it to mine ever since. It's made me money, it's paid for itself. I mean, it was a good move, but it made me realize, because this processor can handle transcodes just fine for my capacity that I use transcoding, that I really don't need a GPU. However, if I rebuild this, I'm going to go with a 10th or 11th gen Intel that has integrated graphics. The 10th gen integrated graphics can handle just an obscene amount of transcodes. I mean, you guys probably saw that video I did about that Intel NUC, right? From Simply NUC. They sent that thing over to me. It's got a tuner built into the top, and it had 8 terabytes or 10 terabytes worth of internal storage, SSD storage, which is insane. Like, it has a lot to it, right? It is powerful AF, and it runs circles around anything that I have here. And that's well, probably not my 3090, but my 3090 is not going to be a dedicated Plex media server. And the thing about integrated graphics is that the Plex hardware transcoding that uses Intel's integrated graphics manages the memory for the transcoding way better than what it is on a GPU. That, at least in my experience, and that was as of last time I tested this. So when you use a graphics card, it kind of allots a certain amount depending on what it's doing, and you can hit the limits of that graphics card with VRAM first than you can of the processing power. But when you're doing integrated graphics and it uses your system memory, it actually uses a little less, uses a little more as it goes. It manages that, in my experience, a lot better, which is how I was able to get like 30 plus transcodes out of that, freaking Intel Simply NUC thing, because it has 32 gigs of RAM in it, and it was able to manage that a heck of a lot better. So yes, that means that this little baby NUC can run circles, and I mean run circles around my server right now. It doesn't have the capacity of hard drives, but if I wanted to rip this thing apart and somehow connect, that would, no. The moral of the story, really what it comes down to, I want to rebuild my Plex media server again. I probably will not run a graphics card in it, and I'm going to use a new 10th, 11th, whatever, 12th gen Intel CPU to do it with integrated graphics and have a beast of a server, because I think I'm completely over the idea of GPU transcoding for Plex. Like, it was nice, it's great, but it's so much better with Intel graphics. It's crazy. So, back to the point. I have to figure out a way to get that into that. Yeah. Here's my old server. If you guys don't remember, this is Zeus. Zeus has been sitting on the ground here. Everything works as far as the slider goes. It holds 36 drives, I believe. Yeah, 36 drives. So this has been sitting on the floor. I've thought about selling it, but honestly, I don't know how to ship it. So I'm thinking about posting it locally and just getting rid of that. Oh my gosh, Luna, what? So I'm thinking about posting that locally and just getting that out of the house, because from what I can just think, I don't really have any use for it. It's dual Xeon and it's kind of old, and I don't know. I got to get rid of it. I have to start kind of clearing stuff up, like the cat. The cat is for sale. Okay, $2. These are the rails that I was just talking about that held Zeus. I haven't taken these out yet, so I'm gonna take these out right now, and then I'm gonna put the wings on, and then I'm gonna have this server probably gapped by a couple, like probably up to like right here. So I'm gonna have it like right there. Yeah, that makes sense. About right there, give or take some change. Let's do that. I've been trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna YOLO solo this thing up into this, which, by the way, I think these are rated for like 40 pounds, kind of flimsy, if you catch my drift. So, this could backfire and I could just completely destroy my server, and bye-bye Plex. But here's what I have. So this is about 150 pounds. I'm gonna lift this up and put it on the trash can, right? And then that'll allow me to get kind of a better grip, and that'll allow me to slide it into there. Maybe. I could take all the hard drives out and do this smart, that I am not a smart man. Okay, I listened some help, and it looks like, for the most part, it's sturdy. Like, definitely not the best solution, but since all the weight's in the front, it seems like it's holding pretty well. Obviously, I'm gonna have to, like, clear this, like, kind of clean that a little bit, because, you know, this has been neglected for a while. But, hey, it is officially back in my rack, which is a ginormous improvement. Now that I have Loki off the floor, which is nice, it seems to hold just fine. So it's not on there, it's on there. This is a huge win for today. Now what I'm going to do is, this has 4 power supplies. I'm going to take one power supply and plug it into one battery, one other power supply, plug it into the other battery, load balance those batteries. That's kind of the benefit of having those. And then probably take the other 2 power supplies and plug it into the wall. So the idea here is that overall it's not going to draw all the power from here until it absolutely needs to, if power goes down. I have no idea why I'm doing this, aside from the fact that I don't have very many outlets left back there, and yeah, but that's what I'm doing. I mean, come on, look at that, it looks so nice. I got everything powered up. Yes, of course it's louder now, and the audio here is going to suck, but it seems to be holding. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scour the internet, look for some wing shell things, right? Hi, cat. Where are you going? Where are you going? Anyways, a beefier way to hold that up. That's what I'm going to do with that, right? I might even get 2 of them, because over here I have this Roswell multi hard drive thing, right? This is my DVR. I built this as, like, you know, the Angry Inch is what I called it. It has 7 drives in it and a P2000. Runs really well, but this is literally just for my Blue Iris setup, which is good. It works great. But I have this new thing where I'm just like, let's put as much stuff in the rack as possible, because why the hell do you have a rack if you're not going to use it? So I'm thinking about repurposing that 3700 AMD build, and or moving all that over to here, reusing that old server case that I have. I don't want to get rid of it because it holds a lot of drives, and I really actually like that. It's just, I think it would be really great for, you know, solely a DVR solution, and I can hold more stuff in there, put more drives in there, and have a beefier build. Actually, that brings ideas. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to think about that actually. So that was good. This thing has been a beast. I love this thing, but I want it in the rack. So I have room to put it underneath this one, so I can have 2 server racks right there. And I mean, yeah, huge improvement. Also, now I can have my monitor up here, so this goes and connects to, you know, my server, so I can kind of see what's going on over there. So that's nice. And I have all 4 power supplies plugged in finally, so now when I turn it on, it doesn't start beeping at me, because that's usually what it does. Such an improvement. I'd really like to know what you guys think about this idea. So I have this obsession with power, keep things going as much as possible. I have all these backup batteries, specifically the Home Power 2. So I was thinking, in order to keep Plex up and running as long as possible, to hook up some sort of a transfer switch, maybe a rack, maybe a solar version, I don't know, but make it to where the Home Power 2 is always on and it's always available, or at least I could switch over to it if I want to, but I can have an automatic power switch to where, a power transfer to where it'll always draw from the wall, but just in case power goes down, hook up the little power transfer switch and it'll start drawing from the battery. And then the Home Power 2 will power the UPS, right, feed that power until the home power 2 is dead, and then the UPSs will kick in and keep the Plex server alive even longer. So, you know, let me know what you think about that. If you think it's kind of a weird setup, leave the comments in the section below. I'm kind of winging this at this point, but it's all about, you know, power balance and just multiple sources, and I don't know. I'm really just kind of trying to figure out the best way to do this and be able to keep stuff up and running as long as possible. And then I could also throw a generator in the mix. I don't really know. I'm not kidding though. I really think, like I wanna discuss it. I really think that integrated graphics with Intel for accelerated hardware transcoding for Plex is the future, and it's going to be the future of my next build. 10th gen or newer, those Intel graphics, they're just beast. Like, they just handle so much, and I think the need for an actual graphics card in your Plex server is not necessary anymore. I think that that's shifted to a point where it makes way more sense to just have a good CPU. It uses less power, you get more out of it, and ultimately I think my next build is just going to be like a 10th gen, and that's going to be plenty of power for what I need, and I'll be able to hook up more things, like whatever else. I don't really know yet, but I do definitely think that that's going to be the future of my next build, which is going to be a rebuild in that server case, obviously. So I would like to know what you guys think in the comments below. When it comes to GPU transcoding, do you think it's dead if you want to use an Intel? Sure, you can use AMD. Sure, you can use a processor that doesn't have an integrated graphics or an old processor, stuff like that. But if you're building yourself a brand new Plex server or rebuilding a Plex server, what do you think? Do you think that makes sense? Also, coming out in a few days, look at this, got Iron Man helmet that I made. This is a 3D printer. It's a Flash Forge 3D printer that printed this all into one. This is the first time I actually really put effort into sanding and trying to get it to look good. It's not perfect. I also still want to put a layer of lacquer on it just to give it just, you know, a little bit more protection, I guess, and maybe a little bit more gloss. Definitely not the best out there. So look out for that video. It's going to come out, I think, on the 2nd. It's going to be very cool because that printer is awesome. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this. Please leave your comments in the section down below on 2 things. 1, integrated graphics, GPUs, are they worthless? 2, what do you think the best solution would be for an automatic transfer switch for power? If I wanted to, might even throw solar in it, but really if I wanted to draw from 2 different power sources, favoring one over the other, what are your solutions? What are your ideas? Link some products in the description or in the comments down below. Like, I want to get ideas, and I want this to be a thing in the future where I can switch between things automatically, and maybe even have it set up to where I could, if I have to, hook up a generator and then just unplug and plug or whatever. So give me some of those feedbacks in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day. Oh, and thank you, Plex, for sponsoring my channel.